to show 'em this new power of mine. When woods is where we landed, we're 2 rows and next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When woods is where we landed, we're 2 rows and next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. Our aim never disappoint, so we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now, waiting for the opportune time to show 'em this new power of mine. When woods is where we landed, we're 2 rows and next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory. When woods is where we landed, we're 2 rows and next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose. Greasy Grove will soon be upon us. Katie Hike, we're sitting on the battle bus. We're closing in and we'll soon claim victory.
Every business owner talks too much. They announce the pivot before it happens. They post the win before it lands. They tell competitors exactly where they're going to be before they get there. The most powerful move in business is the one no one sees coming. I believe that. I live by it right now. Bob, do you agree or disagree with me?
Oh my God, I agree. Okay. Yeah. The biggest thing I always tell people, you announce shit way early.
Absolutely.
Okay. I tell people again, it's kind of like in sports, you got some hot shot there that says, okay, I'm going to predict this is going to happen. Then they get their ass kicked.
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Like a boxer or whatever, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I go, just keep your mouth shut. Right. Or if you're going to say something, especially if there's a competitor there. And I had this happen the other day. I was at a meeting and one of our competitors was there and we were talking. And he goes, so what are you guys doing like with AI with your dealers? And go, I'm not a big fan of AI.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're going like, he goes, really? And I says, nah, I think it's way overrated. I said, we're really just trying to keep, it's like, well, I do too. We haven't really do anything. I mean, we have been pushing AI for a year now. With our dealers,
oh, absolutely.
Right. So I go back again. I'm not going to tell you what the hell I'm doing. Right. I want you to think that we are behind the curve. We're way behind and stuff like this. And we've been pushing. Well, we talk about all the time in this podcast. Yeah. I tell people, all of my dealers, we've got all the dealers we work with, they have been driving toward AI, with AI agents and everything else. But I'm not going to tell my competitors that. I want my competitors to think, you're a 40-year-old company that's kind of this old, you're an old shit. Yeah. You don't know anything.
Yeah.
They're like this. And there'll be some point where they'll wake up and go like, oh, damn, Bob lied to me.
Well, I mean, if you look at it from a sports perspective, like you said, I mean, there's a reason why they're so, you look at Andy Reid, whenever he's on the sideline, he holds his piece of paper up when he starts, it's because having that strategic advantage of someone not knowing what you're doing, right? That
don't telegraph your move.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. It's pretty hard to win a Super Bowl if they know exactly what play you're
running. Here, go ahead and take a look at these. These are my next 4 plays that I'm running.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Don't blitz us because,
and I think a little bit of it is, and I get it, people get excited and, it's kind of like, people used to say, when you're setting goals, you need to share what you're trying to do with people and stuff to hold you accountable. I agree with that. I think that's good, but not in business.
Yeah.
Okay. I tell people because there's a lot of shit you're going to do in business that's not going to work.
Absolutely.
I mean, let's just face it. That's why we call it pivoting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
We don't say, well, business is a straight line. I mean, business is constantly a pivot, a move, or things like this. And if you tell everybody every time you're going to do something, you're probably going to fail. I don't know, half or a little bit more. All you have to do is have one hit, but then you're going to start feeling stupid and things like this. And I tell, people just keep it to yourself, work it through. You're going to make changes, adjustments and things like that. It's kind of like with dealers. They say, well, should I announce this to my people yet? And I go, no, we're kind of in draft 1 stage.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is not something we want to share with anybody. Let's you and I keep working through it. Let's work through the bugs. We will roll it out slowly, test it and things like this. But now, again, it's like it's kind of like, you have the chessboard in the, in the picture
Yeah.
up here. It's like, okay, it's your move. And I'm going to say, hey, Brian, before you move, I'm going to move my knight next.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's probably going to change your strategy, knowing that I'm going to bring my knight out.
Absolutely.
I may not tell you exactly where I'm going to place it, but you're going, but that bitch has a lot of ability to move around.
It does,
right.
yeah.
So,
well, and I think it's very interesting because, and like you said, you don't want to overshare, but we do talk about this a lot, is find other entrepreneurs, right? And you can share with other entrepreneurs and pick their brain, because there is a level of accountability, right? But you don't need them to broadcast it to the masses. We're not saying don't tell anybody, right?
No.
But find your circle, and live with inside of that circle.
Yeah,
and be very cautious.
Yeah, because you're entrepreneurs. The people that, and we've been doing, 60 plus of these now. And we talked in the very beginning, as a new entrepreneur, not a young entrepreneur, but a new entrepreneur, you should start surrounding yourself with other entrepreneurs, that have been successful, because they've gone through all of the crap that you're ultimately going to go through.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's nothing wrong with sharing that stuff with them.
Yeah.
Okay. Because they're going to sit there and they're going to go like, well, Bob, here's something you may want to think about.
Yes.
Or, Bob, this is a little bit like what I did, and I lost a lot of money on it. So, and then listen to them, right?
Yeah.
I always tell people, just shut up, listen to them, and do what they say. They are successful because they have experiences that you don't have yet, and you don't have to pay for the experiences. They're willing to give you their experience for free.
Absolutely.
They're willing to take it. So yeah, I'm with you. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't talk to this kind of core group that you've got.
Yeah.
I think you should. And I think you should share the ideas and things with them. But too many times I see people go out and, well, we're going to release a public this, and go like, well, that's a dumbass thing to do.
Yeah.
You don't know if you're going to be able to do it. You don't know if it's going to work. So yeah. So I'd say, keep it close to that group of entrepreneurs you've got there.
Well, and then that comes down as, let's define what strategic silence actually means in like plain language. I mean, when it comes to it, strategigic silence is not letting your competitors know. Maybe not letting your customers know.
Not yet.
Right. Or even sometimes not even letting your employees know, like you said, right? This is first draft. We don't need to let everybody know, hey, there's changes coming, until we actually have solidified changes. Because what does that do when you release something, say, to your employees early? We're building a new process for a dealership, right?
Right.
And they don't have any idea what this process is going to be. They think it's going to be life-changing for them as an employee. They're going to have to do all of this extra work. What happens in a dealership or in any business when you release something to an employee, or give them hints about these massive changes that are happening before you actually have everything defined?
Well, they get disillusioned. I mean, that's one of the biggest things I would say in deal. And so I'm going to use an example. Let's say that we have a dealership that is going to roll out a bonus program.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the first thing they do, because they're so excited about it, is they say, okay, I can get you guys together. We're going to roll out a bonus program. And then the employee's going to go, that's great. What's it going to be? Well, I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they go, well, when do you think you'll know? Well, I don't know, but I'm working with Bob on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell did you tell them that for? We're not even started it. We just talked about it.
Yeah.
But they're excited about it. Then the employees get excited about it. And then you and I both know, because we've done this a lot.
Yeah.
It's a bonus program is, if you do it wrong, it becomes a demotivator,
Absolutely.
not a motivator.
Yeah.
And so you have to play with it quite a bit and test it quite a bit and do things like that before you ever roll it out, and then if you roll it out and it doesn't work, then again, your people start becoming disenfranchised. They go like, yeah, shit, Bob says this or Bob says that. He never does it. It's like when you're telling all of your friends that are not that peer group that you're with, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And then they come back and they said, well, gosh, how'd that work? Well, I haven't started it yet. Pretty soon they go like, yeah, he's just full of shit.
Yeah.
Right? He's just bullshit. He's, nothing, whatever like that. So again, you just keep it close to your chest. Like I say, share it with that group. You should have a kind of a core group of entrepreneurs around you. Share it with that group and because they get it.
Yeah.
Okay. Stay away from sharing it with everybody. Probably wouldn't share it with my bank yet if I haven't got it worked out.
Yeah.
Because they're going to make a note of it and go like, oh, how did that work? Oh yeah, shit, we lost $100,000 on that.
Yeah.
But I need you to extend my line of credit.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I got this new idea.
I got this new idea. You're not going to believe it. This one's going to work. Yeah. Okay.
And if you order now, you get 2 for the price of 1. All you have to do is pay shipping and handling.
Exactly right. Pay shipping and handling. And shipping and handling is expensive.
It is.
Always expensive. So I would say again, that's the thing. I think to your point, it's a matter of understanding that if you do tell it in advance, right? And it doesn't happen. And many times it won't happen the way that you thought it was going to happen. That's why I always tell my dealers when I work with them, I'll go back to the bonus program. I said, okay, there's lots of ways we can do bonuses. I've got some ways that I know really work, but every dealership is a little bit different, because of how they pay or the structure or when they pay bonuses. So I said, I always tell my dealers, keep in mind, now this is what we're going to call draft 1.
Yeah.
Okay, this isn't the final draft. We're going to take last year's numbers. We're going to run into this bonus program and see if we use last year's numbers, how much it would have cost us for bonus. How would we have done?
Yeah.
And I said, so don't tell anybody about it, right? Don't announce anything. Then we'll run the numbers. We'll get back together again. We will tweak percentages. You know how it goes. You've done it. Like I said, you've done it a million times. We'll tweak percentages, how we're going to allocate it, whether we do a pool bonus, individual bonuses, things like that. And then we're going to call that draft 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we're going to run it against this year's numbers.
Yeah.
Say January through July, see how we would have done with that. Right. And then if we still like it, now we're at that final draft.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it's just a matter of tweaking things a little bit. Now we can say, hey, we have a bonus program. We're in the final draft stages of it. This is what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
And this is how it's going to work.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, in 30 days, because they say, well, when are you going to do this? We're going to do this on our next pay period. We're going to start our next pay period. And here's how it's going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally just did this you're familiar with Miller Repair over in Nebraska.
Yep.
We just rolled this thing out to them, and they had a lot of questions, but I'd spent a lot of time on it. We had 2 different tiers of technicians. We have 7 tiers of technicians, but some of the technicians were in an A tier.
Yeah.
And so their bonus on their billable hours were higher than a technician. It's like a B1 level technician. So anyway, so we had to go through all that stuff, and we showed them how they could, if they moved up their tier, they automatically got an increase in their hourly rate based upon the percentage of the posted labor rate. We got all that stuff worked through there. And then again, we thought we had everything perfect. And then one of the guys said, well, this is really bad. Cause I said, so you can go up. So if you're at a B1 and you get the skills that you need to get to an A-Tech, and you stay there 90 days, then you now get the hourly rate of an A-Tech.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you get up there and you can't stay up there for 90 days, then you drop back down.
Yeah.
Well, he understood that he could even go lower than where he was.
Oh.
So he could keep dropping back down.
Yeah.
And so, so as much as we think we had it clear.
Yeah.
So I got back on there, the meeting and say, hey, look, guys, you can't ever go lower than where you started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can't go from a B Tech down to a C Tech.
Well, you
Because
can,
if you do, I'll terminate you.
You're going to get fired.
Yeah. So you're gone at that point.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's those little things there. But when I work with a dealer to roll out a program, we keep it really quiet. We run the numbers, right? We don't even tell anybody we're going to do a bonus because I want it to be kind of a surprise.
Yeah.
I want it to be like Christmas, right?
Absolutely.
From that standpoint. And then understanding that there's always going to be some questions as much as a good as an explainer I am.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. I always know there's going to be some questions. And so I always say, okay, in 2 days, we're going to get back together again.
Yeah.
Because I know you guys have questions. You're not going to ask me now, but you'll ask your managers.
Yeah,
Okay?
absolutely.
And I said, we'll go back together in 2 days if you have any other questions. And that's what we had. And I said, no, you can't go below where you are.
Yeah.
Because his concern was, so you're going to dock me?
Yeah.
And I said, no, if you go to a C-Tech, we're going to fire you.
Yeah.
And of course, everybody laughed. And I said, no, you're not going to do that. But anyway, so that's the piece of it there. I think, again, as you go through it, but it is not, not oversharing, even with your own employees.
Yeah.
Because if we'd have done that, because it probably took us, I don't know, 90 days to get everything worked through.
Absolutely.
On the ownership side of it. If I'd announced 90 days earlier that we're going to do the bonus program, they'd have been so pissed off because we told me 90 days ago it was going to do it. So we told them about a week before it was going to roll out.
Yeah.
Right. And so then when we pulled them all together to roll the program out and we showed them how much they can make and all this stuff like that, then they were excited and we were ready to roll it out at that point.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, and so with that, have you seen in all of the businesses that you've worked with, is it natural for a successful business to build in quiet, or is it a deliberate choice against kind of natural instinct to build in quiet?
Oh, no, you've got to build it because you want to tell everybody.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
I mean, if you're excited about your business, if you're passionate about your business, if you're excited about where you're going, you want to shout to the world, hey,
absolutely.
This is where I'm going. It's just don't.
Yes.
Okay. So you have to, you have to pull that back in a little bit.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then do it. So no, your natural tendency is to want to share with the world how cool, how smart you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And the key is don't look like a dumbass. Okay. So pull it back. Then when you got it there, then you can announce it to the world at that point. But again, it is natural. If you're passionate and excited about what you're doing, your natural tendency is you want to evangelize that to
Yeah.
everybody. And I would say again, go against your natural tendencies, evangelize it to your little core group,
Yeah.
right? Because they'll go like, yeah, you need to tamper this down just a little bit.
Yeah.
And then listen to them. But again, once you got it figured out, then evangelize it.
Yeah.
Then make it happen. Then be excited about it because you know it's going to work.
Yeah. So when we're talking about your core group, I want to dive deeper into that core group. So let's say you're a young entrepreneur,
Yes.
right? New entrepreneur.
Right.
You got an idea, something's, you're like, okay, this is going to be great. Do you share it with your friends? Do you share it with your family? Do you share it with your mentor? Who of those three, who do you share it
My
with?
mentor.
Yeah. What do you think about family and friends?
I wouldn't in the
Yeah.
beginning. I'd share it with you.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you and I've worked together. So, hey, Brian, I got a dumbass idea. I want to run it by you. Or
Yeah.
you do that to me all the time. So you and I have worked together for so long.
I think mushroom farming was one of
Yeah,
them.
well,
actually,
yeah.
I
still think it's a profitable thing. So yeah, I won't tell you some of the different things. As I've traveled around the dealerships, and so have you, I've met people and go like, oh yeah, what do you do? Oh, we got this mushroom farm,
Yeah.
and we use the storage containers to do it. I think it was out in Vermont or
Yeah.
I forget where it
absolutely.
was.
Yep.
I'm going like, really?
Yeah.
You can make money? Oh my God, it's like an ATM machine outside of a casino.
Absolutely.
I go like, well, hell. Okay. So I think either you brought that idea back to me and we dug into it, or I brought it back to you. I
Yeah.
forget what it was.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, then we saw it on Clarkson Farms.
Oh, that's
and
right.
they
Yeah.
started-
Oh yeah. We saw that, which is one of our favorite shows.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't watch Clarkson Farms, shame on you. You need to watch Clarkson Farms.
Absolutely.
But anyway, yeah, and again, because we're always looking at, I mean, you and I are out traveling all the time. Not so much anymore, but you kind of took all the travel, all of I used to do. And so you just get to see all this kind of cool stuff out
Yeah.
there, and things like that. And again, we're entrepreneurs. And so we go like, well, hell, I can buy a storage container.
Yeah.
and,
Buried in the ground.
Buried
Figure it out.
buried-
Ventilation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hell, I can run an excavator. I
Yep.
could put it in the ground. Oh, really? You need to do something more than that. So, anyway,
Yeah.
but that's kind of the fun thing. So I would say, again, I share with, I consider you to be one of my mentors. We just bounce ideas back and forth off each other. But again, I would share it with my mentors to run it by because, you and I know each other well enough to know we go like, well, that's kind of a harebrained ass idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're probably, now that I thought about
Yeah.
it, you're probably, was the tequila talking.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So again, but I wouldn't share it with, family and friends and things like that. It's just, because it's still incubating, right?
Yes.
The eggs in the nest and we're sitting on the egg, we're
Absolutely.
not sure whether it's actually fertilized or not. We maybe should be eating it
Yeah.
instead of
exactly.
expecting a chick to come
Yeah.
out of it.
Well, and I think that this takes us back to an episode that we did a little while ago because I know right now for me is, I'm mid-build in Triton, I'm
Right.
busy with a lot of things. And then the discipline of not over expanding on what I'm building is tough a lot of times. But I think one of the things, and like I said, this takes us back to a past episode, is that, noise is
Yes.
loud, signals are quiet,
Yes.
and you can create so much noise
Yes.
around what you're building if you overshare, because everyone's going to have an opinion.
Oh my God.
right?
Yes.
And
Who
so
know nothing about what you're trying to do.
exactly.
You want my opinion? No, not really.
No,
No.
I don't. I have no desire for it, but I'm gonna nod and
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah. But with that again is if you go back and watch that episode where we talked about signals, you are creating more noise for
Absolutely.
yourself if you push outside of your inner
Exactly.
circle.
Yeah.
And it just makes life that much more difficult because you have more stuff, more shit that you have to actually
You got to
touch
deal
through.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to say, noise is chaos.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Signals are quiet.
Yeah,
And that's the thing. Again, the more noise you create, the harder it is to keep that signal
absolutely.
tuned in there. So it's
Yeah.
it's kind of the same thing. But again, the other piece, again, I think it's really important. And you kind of touched on this. And I've had this happen many times in my life where, especially as a speaker, I have people walk. I mean, I've been speaking for 40 years. I'm pretty damn good at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of got this thing down.
Yep.
Right. And I have people walk up and go, hey, I really like what you did, but would you mind if I gave you a little kind of critical advice?
Yeah.
And I sat there and go, sure. I said, but let me ask you a question first. How many years have you been professionally speaking? I go,
Yeah.
well, I've never done it before.
Yeah.
I say, oh, I'll keep that in mind. So go ahead and tell me what
Yeah,
you think I should
exactly.
do. I don't want to discourage you, but quite frankly, right.
I
I've
just
been
don't
doing
care.
it for 40
Yeah.
years and I know you're in my workshop,
Yeah.
and And so, but I always say, so let me ask you a question. Hey, how long have you been professionally speaking? They go, oh, I've never spoke before. Actually, it makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
I don't like being in front of people.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
like, all right, I'll keep that in mind as
Yeah,
you give me that.
absolutely.
That's why, again, I think, Brian, as you have your mentors, these guys that are business people there, they're the ones, if I had, let's say I used to work with Tom Hopkins, Zig Ziglar, some of these guys like this. If a Zig Ziglar, who rest his soul, has passed away now, probably the greatest motivational speaker that was ever out there.
Yeah.
If he walked up to me and said, hey, Bob,
Yeah.
in his Mississippi accent, got a thought for you here.
Yeah.
Right. You may want to do this. I'd go, got it.
Got it. Perfect.
Because he's done a billion more than I've done.
Yeah.
So, but again, that's just, you got to take advice from the people again that have been down the path. And maybe even your mentor hasn't done what you're doing, but if they're in a business, be like Mike and Cass, or Gary V.
Yeah.
If Gary V said, hey, Brian, you should think about doing this. I'd probably say, hey, Brian, you ought to listen to Gary V.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because he's done pretty well at this whole thing.
Yeah. He's been decently successful.
He has been, decently successful.
But I mean, and again, it's not, and I will say this, like when you are talking to your friends or family, like once you get your MVP, like your idea situated, you get a foundation built and you talk to that, understand that everyone's going to have an opinion. And I think the best example of that is if you've ever watched a football game, right?
Yes.
On TV, you've been like, why didn't you just go through that hole? Right. You're like, hey, Patrick, Travis was wide open.
What the hell are you thinking?
I could have made that pass. Right. Yeah. But we all naturally do that. We all go, well, I could have done it better. Right.
Yeah,
I could.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Or they have an opinion on it. But at the end of the day, none of us have 300-pound linemen running at us.
Exactly right.
And probably a tore up ankle and all of this other stuff.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy to set above in the stadium and see openings.
Absolutely.
It's when you got 8-foot tall guys in front of you running at you, trying to kill you, that you miss some of those openings.
Absolutely. So, well, and it goes back, and so I'm going to bring up Nutcase because I have been actively just drinking and enjoying.
Your son just came down and got one.
And yes, my son did just come and get one. But again, this goes, Joelle, what she has built. I mean, she's built in a noisy category, right?
Yes.
It's milk. It's nut milk. It's any type of a healthy milk, right? It's a noisy category, but she stayed quiet in the build, right? No one saw her moves coming. Ninja, Phil Hellmuth, those positions were already locked in before anyone had time to notice. And what she's building now is incredible. She's creating incredible distribution channels. And it's a great product. And it's a great product. Yes. Definitely.
I love Nutcase.
You need to try, go to drinknutcase.com. The other thing is it now is live on Amazon. So go on Amazon, you get it same day or next day. Free Amazon Prime shipping. Get it. I love it. I've been drinking it like crazy. And honestly, it's helped my sweet tooth. I'm down like in the last month and a half, 20 pounds. And I would say a lot of it is because I like to snack on stuff. Yeah. And so late night, I'll be like, oh, I'm going to just grab a muffin or I'm going to grab something like that. Now I just grab a Nutcase.
Yeah, it is. They're wonderful.
It's awesome.
I love the product.
So, anyways, we'll stop talking about Nutcase there.
So by the way, if you do order a case on Amazon, you have to order one for Brian and I too. And send it to, just as a heads up.
Buy one,
give and one. Send one.
Yeah.
Buy one, give one.
That actually said we should push that. Buy one, give one.
There you go.
So is there a version of strategic silence that becomes dishonesty or creates a trust problem?
Well, I don't know. I don't know that there is. I guess there would be for people that don't understand it. So you could say, well, how come you didn't tell me this was happening? Yeah. Or how come I didn't know about that? Well, I didn't want to tell you about it because I didn't know for sure it was going to work. Well, you don't trust me?
Yeah.
And I go, no, it's not that I don't trust you, but you create noise.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
I'm trying to stay focused on signal. They don't understand that. So I could say some people would go like, well, I can't believe you. I can't believe this is the first time I heard about this, or I can't believe this. Mm-hmm. You're going to have that. I don't see it as dishonesty. I think, again, kind of goes back, it's kind of like what I told the competitor. Hey, I was lying to him.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was stupid for him to ask me that question anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
So again, it's okay to lie to competitors.
Okay, exactly.
I'm not here to help. I'm not here to help you make more money. I'm here to take money away from you. So again, but I would say, I don't think it's dishonest. I think, again, it's just good practical sense. I mean, if you go back and you think from a military perspective,
Yeah.
is it dishonest that you didn't let the enemy know that you were going to attack at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, exactly.
Or should you said, hey,
Hey,
you might hear some noise outside.
Yeah.
It's 3 o'clock. That's because that's when we always attack at
Yeah.
3 o'clock because you're tired and half asleep.
Yeah.
And we've rested all night because we know we're
Absolutely.
going to be up 3. So I don't think it's dishonest. I think it's good business. I think, again, I understand how easy it is to get excited about what you're doing. And if you're doing it and you're not excited, it's probably not going to be a good thing either.
Absolutely.
So I want you to evangelize it. I want you to be excited about it. But again, what I'm really encouraging you to do is do it in a way, that doesn't create a lot of, to your point, Brian, doesn't create a lot of extra noise, because you don't need the extra noise. Right. And then, and you don't have that noise when you're working with that mentor group that you have there. So anyway, so I don't think it's dishonest. I think it's just good business.
Yeah. Well, and you're going to get that pushback. People are going to be like, well, why didn't I hear about this before?
Right.
And it's one of those, listen, I have to validate my ideas.
Exactly.
Right. My ideas have to be valid before I push them to whoever.
Yeah.
I mean, that was with Triton. I mean,
how many times did I go to you to try and say, God, Brian, can you get it to do this?
I know.
Right. Can you get it to do this?
Absolutely. But even at the very beginning, I mean, I got a lot of pushback from people that found out that I was building something like 3 months after I started building it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those like, well, why didn't I hear about this? Well, because it's not the time for people to hear about it.
Right.
Right now is the time for me to put my head down, focus on the signals, and get everything done. It's not that I don't want you involved, or it's not that I don't want you in the know. It's just I cannot afford, especially when you're first starting, your first 3 months, you cannot afford noise. You have to be signal focused, because I would say the first 3 months of a business is your make or break. You're either going to last for your first 3 months or you're going to die. If you make it through your first 3 months,
that's a little pessimistic.
Yeah. The idea is going to die.
Okay.
Should I say?
Okay. So
but yeah, that's those you've got to stay focused on your signals.
Yeah, it again, and you don't, like, to your point again, you don't need the extra noise. And again, you will have some people that say, I can't believe you didn't tell me about this sooner. And you just have to say, well, I apologize.
Yeah.
Right. But, I was really trying to keep my focus, because I listened to a guy on a podcast and he said, I'll die in 90 days if I don't get this done.
Do it right.
And I really don't want to die right now. So damn that podcast.
Damn. But we kept you focused.
But we kept you focused on your signal.
Don't forget
that's exactly right. So, like I say, is it dishonest? I don't think so. I think again, and I think it's all fair in line to a competitor. I go back again. I'm not going to tell, I want everybody that I compete against with thinking, well, hell, this guy's 70 years old. This company's been around 40 years. It's just old stuff. And I'm never old shit. I mean, I'm always on, we taled about that 5 degree.
Yeah.
Man, I'm always looking for what's new. I'm always looking for this. I'm always looking for this stuff like that, and I want them to keep believing I'm just a 70-year-old guy that's got a company that's 40 years old. That what the hell does he know? He probably still uses a typewriter. Nope. No. I use Claude.
Exactly. I use a typewriter called Claude.
Claude is my typewriter, and Claude Code is my buddy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what is the difference between building in public, which, I mean, in all honesty, does have real benefits, right? Building in public, and then talking about competitive moves before they're done. What's the difference between building in public and talking about competitive moves?
Well, I think, again, it depends upon what you're trying to do. If you're trying to raise money, I'm going to use Elon Musk as an example of building in public.
Yeah.
Okay. So SpaceX was built in public.
Absolutely.
Okay. Right. And he's building it in public because he wants to get people excited about it. He doesn't need their money yet.
Yeah.
But everybody's watching it going like, oh, shit, that's pretty cool. Oh, he did that. He did that. They just had one of their things I just saw this morning. One of their stages of one of their rockets was supposed to come back down to Earth, but something happened and it ended up crashing into the moon.
That's always good.
So I'm like, oh, well, it was going to crash either way. So what the hell? Let's send it to the moon and see what happens up there. So anyway, but I go back in. So it's all in public, but he was doing it basically to get the excitement stuff because he knew at some point he was going to go for public funding. And he, raised, I don't know, $1 trillion or
dollars,
a couple bucks off of that. So, if you're looking for that, if you're looking at that, then you can be a little bit more public with it. You're going to have, how many failures did he have and how many successes? But again, people are getting excited about it. If you're not going for that, then I think, again, it's better, unless you're looking for investors, and then you got to figure out, do these investors, are these investors that are going to be real investors for me? Yeah. Okay. Not family, friends, and fools. Okay. We talked about those. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. But I'm going to say, but if you're going to raise $1 million or $2 million or $3 million, you're looking for people that are real investors. And those are the ones there that, they don't want you they don't want you telling everybody in the world about it.
Absolutely.
Right. So anyway, so like I say, I think there's two different ways you can do it. If you're looking for raising a lot of public money, then it's good to be public about what you're doing and
Yeah.
get people excited about it. I mean, I watch, Fox Business, and I watched, CNBC, their business stuff. And, there's companies out there that are trying new things and they're getting their name out. They don't have it yet, but,
Yeah.
but people are watching them and seeing them. So that's the
Yeah.
public side of it.
Well, and we've talked about this, and I want to make sure that we clarify this a little bit, because we do talk about validating through social media, right?
Yeah.
We're validating
Yep,
your
absolutely.
idea. When we say that, I mean, you are not, again, giving up all of your secrets. You're
No.
not, and you still need to validate your idea internally before you validate it on, say, TikTok, Instagram,
Yeah,
Facebook,
absolutely.
on social media. So that's where I think the big difference is that, I can use building in public, but SpaceX, it wasn't built in public before they go, okay, well, what do we want to do? Right.
No.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
had an idea, they had a vision, they had everything built behind it before Elon came and said, okay, let's make this thing public. Like everyone, I mean, I don't know how much time he probably spent coming up with everything around
lot.
SpaceX before anyone actually knew about
He spent a lot of time privately finding the absolute best people for the rocket industry, so nobody else would grab them. So it's kind of like Disney going out and buying land
Yeah.
with somebody buying it for them.
Yeah.
Because if Disney's buying your land,
It's worth a little bit more.
It's worth a lot more.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same thing. I mean, I'm sure, he spent a lot of time getting the right people in. I mean,
Absolutely.
and he was looking for a certain type of person that was, think out of the box, try new things,
Yeah.
things like that. So again, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think, again, like you said, we've talked about it before, the kind of the cool thing about business is it's easy to test an idea.
Yeah.
But you need to have a good idea formulated. It's like with Nutcase, I'm sure Joelle tried it
Yeah.
before she put it in a can.
Absolutely.
Okay. Then, once you say, yeah, this is actually pretty good, then you can go start TikToking it and doing some things like that, and then doing it, and then let that be a test for you.
Absolutely. So strategic silence isn't about hiding. It's about understanding that information is a competitive asset. The businesses that win long-term are not the ones that talk the most. They're the ones that move the most. Bob, someone is talking too much about about a move they are trying to make. One sentence. What do you tell them?
Shut up.
There you go.
Okay. Just keep it to yourself, get it proved out, then share it with your mentors. And then from there, if it's moving forward, then you can start telling the public.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, in silence that is before the move is part of the move. And
Absolutely.
that's what
Absolutely.
it is again, you need to stay silent, build in that silence, focus on the signals. Don't let the noise overcome everything else that you're trying to do. And don't feel bad about not telling people.
I think your point is silence is part of the move.
It is.
That's a part of the move.
It is. Well, with that, we appreciate everybody. We'll see you here next week on Unplugged Unfiltered. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Going our aim, never disappoint. So we have coincidentally stumbled on a legendary. Wait until they see us now. Waiting for the opportune time to show them this new power of mine. When words is where we landed, we're 2 rows are next to be commended. We're taking down all of those who oppose.